Welcome back to the Operation Freedom YouTube channel. What we do here is shine the light of truth on the deep state. They hate that. We do it figuratively with our presentations. We do it literally with our sponsor's product, PatriotLegacy.com. PatriotLegacy.com, featured product of theirs, the Patriot Beacon. 6 overall lighting functions. In addition, solar powered, don't need batteries. You can charge your other devices like your phone from it. In addition, you got a compass, you got a window breaking hammer, and you got a seatbelt cutter. Plus, if those deep state dweebs get just a little bit too close to you, blast them with this. They're gone. Go to patrioticlegacy.com, patrioticlegacy.com. Get yourself, your kids, your grandkids, your car. Can carry it with you anytime. patrioticlegacy.com, the Patriot Beacon. I'm Dr. Dave Janda. Welcome back to Operation Freedom Briefings. The goal of these briefings in my weekly radio show is to provide you information the bought-off lamestream fake media will not present and will not touch. You can join us for the radio show, Operation Freedom. It's free and it's live. Every Sunday from 2 to 5 Eastern. It's very easy to listen to if you're out of the terrestrial reach of Wham Talk 1600. All you have to do is go to davejanda.com. Right in the middle, very near the top of the homepage is a Listen Live. Hit that. It will take you to Wham Talk 1600 streaming service. Hit the play button, and you're good to go. Great guests, great analysis, great information. Information that the lamestream media will never touch. This past Sunday is a great example. If you have a chance, as a subscriber to the platform, a mere 30 cents a day, you have access to all of our podcasts. And this past Sunday, we hit on preparedness. Many people want you to believe that if you prepare for a potential problem with supply chains in our country, that you're being a conspiracy theorist, that you're being a fearmonger. No, it's about prevention and being ahead of the game. In particular, we had Daniel Brigman on about storable food and water, storable water. Very important point. That podcast is available for you on the platform. And in addition, we also touched on this issue and actually delved into this issue quite deeply of the coronavirus. Now look, we've done a number of videos on this. We have a tremendous amount of information that we've had for well over a month and a half up on our subscription platform. We go in great depth, more depth than I can go into on a YouTube channel or on a radio show. But we had Mark Franks on the show speaking about how to protect yourself. And I stand behind this statement, and I get a lot of grief from the YouTube audience when I say this. The single most effective way of protecting yourself and reducing the viral or bacterial load that you're experiencing is frequently washing your hands. I am deluged with emails of people telling me that that's simplistic and that I'm making light of the issue. No, I'm not. It's extremely important. You should be washing your hands with warm water and soap, the duration of which should be, an old-timer family practitioner taught me this 40 years ago. When you're over the sink, washing your hands, not cold water, warm water, not scalding hot water, don't burn yourself. And soap, very important, soap is in our discussion with Mark Franks from this past week on Sunday. Sing happy birthday to yourself very quickly. And that's how long you should wash your hands for. When you dry your hands, paper towel is better than those air blowers that occur you find in a lot of bathrooms. You should do that before and after meals, washing your hands, after you go to the bathroom, when you wake up in the morning, before you go to bed. If you have to tie your shoes, after you're done tying your shoes, wash your hands. Very simple. Reduces the viral and bacterial load you will experience immensely. Now, these hand sanitizers, Costco, one of my favorite places to go, I was recently there, and all the hand sanitizers were gone to buy. Well, that's fine. And we discussed this with Mark Franks, and this is really important. Hand sanitizers are effective, but they're only effective at killing the bacteria for as long as you can smell the alcohol. The minute you touch something, you're recontaminated, which is why we discuss another type of product. It's a foam product that you can put on your hands that can protect you for many hours no matter what you touch. And this is what we discuss with Mark Franks. It's something I have used for a period of time and has been incredibly effective. Pushing fluids, plenty of sleep. These are all basic common sense recommendations. Again, when you look at this infectious disease that has been provided to us through China, there are certain groups of individuals who are more vulnerable to developing symptoms. Like who? Well, elderly, those who have medical conditions that have been present for an extensive period of time. Cardiovascular disease, lung diseases such as emphysema and bronchitis, history of that. Diabetes, folks that have uncontrolled diabetes. Folks who have bone marrow issues. These are all the people, and Dr. Fauci has recently come out from the NIH and said these are people who should avoid large group events. These are people who should try to isolate themselves a little bit. This is all common sense recommendation, and we should follow through on that. In addition, we have talked about the nuances of this virus on our subscription platform that I'm not going to go into today on our YouTube channel. But again, this is available for you if you so choose. In addition, if you haven't watched our previous YouTubes, I suggest you do the same. You do that. And one is on your financial preparedness. If we've seen the stock market getting hammered hard, at least earlier in this week, and at one point I believe it was down 2,000 points on Monday morning, we discussed this in a YouTube I released last Saturday with Adriana Reed about the financial markets and how the deep state and the globalist syndicate could potentially use this infectious disease issue as a means of absolving themselves from this construct that they've developed, they've built over a number of decades' time that's fraught with failure in the financial system I'm referring. Listen to that video with Adriana Reed. It's very instructive in ways in which you can try to ensure your financial well-being. In addition, if you haven't seen the interview I did with Rosemary Gibson, and this was, we released it, I believe, in November of last year, 5 months ago, about pharmaceuticals and their relation, and pharmaceutical companies and their relationship with China. That's a very important interview. It's in our archives here on the YouTube channel. That was a subscription interview that I provided to the YouTube channel free of charge. And also the recent interview we did with Buck Revell, the former Deputy Associate Director of the FBI. Buck dissects what has been going on in the FBI and some of the huge problems the FBI has had and continues to have. These are all available. That we just released that Buck Revell interview on Monday, and I encourage you to watch it. I assure you that's information you will never get from the bought-off lamestream fake media, and that includes Fox. I want to focus today on the judicial system and how it's truly compromised and complicit in the coup of a duly elected president of the United States, and how the judicial system has devolved. The latest that we hear from the bought-off lamestream fake media on the judicial system is, well, non-existent, really. There's a trivial bit of information out there. But the reason is that we get very little from the bought-off lamestream fake media on this topic is because the lamestream media is a tentacle of the deep state. And the deep state is what ultimately, for decades, not just years, decades, has, if you will, destroyed our judicial system, our legal system, and created a two-tiered system that we've discussed before. That's no longer based on justice, one word, but two words, just us, J-U-S-T, second word, us, U-S, and you and I are not part of the us. The us is the elite. That the elite are never prosecuted. That they can get away with criminal acts of the nth degree. And you and I are held to a different standard. One small misstep and, well, we're in huge trouble. Right now, we're seeing puppets in the deep state acting out. Many people believe that they're acting out of a position of power. I disagree with that. I believe they're acting out of desperation and panic. And the latest example of that is good old Chuck Schumer, Crying Chuck, and what he did on the courthouse steps of the Supreme Court. It was so off the charts that even deep state puppet John Judas Roberts came out and criticized deep state puppet Schumer. From Zero Hedge, Chief Justice slams Schumer for threatening Gorsuch and Kavanaugh over an abortion case. First, Chuck Schumer threatened President Trump when he said the intelligence community has, quote, 6 ways from Sunday, end quote, of getting back at him. Remember that. Before President Trump even took office. Now it's Supreme Court Justices Brett Kavanaugh and Neil Gorsuch who will, quote, pay the price, end quote, and, quote, won't know what hit you, end quote, if they rule the wrong way on a landmark abortion case. Schumer was speaking at a rally in front of the Supreme Court where the justices heard June Medical Service versus Russo, in which an abortion provider has challenged a 2014 Louisiana state law, the Unsafe Abortion Act, which requires abortion doctors to hold admitting privileges in a hospital at least 30 miles away from the abortion facility, end quote. Now, first of all on that, I practiced medicine for 32 years as an orthopedic surgeon. You can be the best surgeon in the world, and occasionally there will be a complication. And you want your patient to have access to the best facilities and the best personnel. I'm not convinced that the best people in the OB-GYN world are the ones that are involved in the abortion clinics to begin with, okay? Not just from an ethical standpoint, I mean from a technical standpoint. And the chance of a complication occurring in one of those abortion clinics is actually not high, but it's also not minimal. If a complication occurs, you want what's best for your patient, or you should. And you should want access to the best facilities and the best technology, the best personnel. The fact that this is even a Supreme Court case, let alone a case at a district level, in my mind is ridiculous. Who's ever on this June Medical Service versus Russo, whoever is making the case that, well, I shouldn't have admitting privileges within 30 miles. Frankly, 30 miles? Are you kidding me? Someone can bleed to death if you have to take somebody 30 miles.